Advice to a Young Author by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Read for Librivox.org by Katie Riley. March 2010. First to begin, taking in. Cargo stored, all aboard. Think about, giving out. Empty ship, useless trip. Never strain, weary brain, hardly fit. Wait a bit. After rest comes the best. Sitting still, let it fill. Never press. Nerve stress always shows. Nature knows. Critics kind, never mind. Critics flatter, no matter. Critics curse, none the worse. Critics blame, all the same. Do your best. Hang the rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Better Far to Pass Away by Richard Dennis. Read for Librivox.org by Ernst Patinama. Better far to pass away while the limbs are strong and young, ere the ending of the day, ere youth's lusty song be sung. Hot blood pulsing through the veins, youth's high hope a burning fire. Young men needs must break the chains that hold them from their heart's desire. My friend, the hills, the sea, the sun, the winds, the woods, the clouds, the trees, how feebly, if my youth were done, could I, an old man, relish these. With laughter then I'll go to greet what fate is still in store for me, and welcome death if we should meet, and bear him willing company. My share of 80 years and 10 I'll gladly yield to any man, and take no thought of where or when, contented with my shorter span. For I have learned what love may be, and found a heart that understands, and known a comrade's constancy, and felt the grip of friendly hands. Come when it may the stern decree for me to leave the cheery throng, and quit the sturdy company of brothers that I work among. No need for me to look askance, since no regret my prospect mars. My day was happy, and perchance the coming night is full of stars. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Clara Hughes, from Biography for Beginners, read for Librivox.org by Algie Pugg, Perth, Western Australia. The art of biography is different from geography. Geography is about maps, but biography is about chaps. So Christopher Wren said, "I am going to dine with some men. If anyone calls, say I am designing St. Paul's." Sir Humphrey Davy abominated gravy. He lived in the odium of having discovered sodium. John Stuart Mill, by a mighty effort of will, overcame his natural bonhomie, and wrote Principles of Economy. What I like about Clive is that he is no longer alive. There is a great deal to be said for being dead. Edward the Confessor slept under the dresser. When that began to pall, he slept in the hall. Chapman and Hall swore not at all. Mr. Chapman's yea was yea, and Mr. Hall's nay was nay. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Conversation Galante by T.S. Eliot, read for Librivox.org by Miss Avarice. I observe, our sentimental friend the moon, or possibly, fantastic I confess, it may be Prester John's balloon, or an old battered lantern hung aloft, to light poor travellers to their distress. She then, how you digress! And I then, someone frames upon the keys that exquisite nocturne, with which we explain the night and moonshine music which we seize to body forth our own vacuity. She then, Does this refer to me? Oh no, it is I who am inane. You, madame, are the eternal humorist, the eternal enemy of the absolute, giving our vagrant moods the slightest twist, with your air indifferent and imperious, at a stroke our mad poetics to confute. And are we then so serious? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dead Love by Mary Matthews Adams. Read for Librivox.org by Leanne Howlett. Two loves had I, now both are dead, and both are marked by tombstones white. The one stands in the churchyard near, the other hid from mortal sight. The name on one all men may read, and learn who lies beneath the stone. The other name is written where no eyes can read it but my own. On one I plant a living flower, and cherish it with loving hands. I shun the single withered leaf that tells me where the other stands. To that white tombstone on the hill in summer days I often go. From this white stone that nearer lies I turn me with unuttered woe. O God, I pray, if love must die, and make no more of life a part, let witness be where all can see, and not within a living heart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Dream of Eugene Aram by Thomas Hood. Read for Librivox.org. 'Twas in the prime of summer-time, an evening calm and cool, and 24 happy boys came bounding out of school. There were some that ran and some that leapt, like troudlets in a pool. Away they sped with gamesome minds, and souls untouched by sin. To a level mead they came, and there they drave the wickets in. Pleasantly shone the setting sun over the town of Lynn. Like sportive deer they coursed about, and shouted as they ran, turning to mirth all things of earth as only boyhood can. But the usher sat remote from all, a melancholy man. His hat was off, his vest apart, to catch heaven's blessed breeze, for a burning thought was in his brow, and his bosom ill at ease. So he leaned his head on his hands, and read the book upon his knees. Leaf after leaf he turned it over, nor ever glanced aside. For the peace of his soul he read that book in the golden eventide. Much study had made him very lean, and pale, and leaden-eyed. At last he shut the ponderous tome with a fast and fervent grasp. He strained the dusky covers close, and fixed the brazen hasp. O God, could I so close my mind, and clasp it with a clasp! Then leaping on his feet upright, some moody turns he took, now up the mead, then down the mead, and past a shady nook. And lo, he saw a little boy, that pored upon a book. My gentle lad, what is it you read? Romance or fairy fable? Or is it some historic page of kings and crowns unstable? The young boy gave an upward glance.
It is the death of Abel.
The usher took 6 hasty strides, as smit with sudden pain, 6 hasty strides beyond the place, then slowly back again. And down he sat beside the lad, and talked with him of Cain, and long since then of bloody men whose deeds tradition saves, of lonely folks cut off unseen and hid in sudden graves, of horrid stabs in groves forlorn, and murders done in caves. And how the sprites of injured men shriek upwards from the sod, aye, how the ghostly hand will point to show the burial clod, and unknown facts of guilty acts are seen in dreams from God. He told how murderers walk the earth beneath the curse of Cain, with crimson clouds before their eyes and flames about their brain, for blood has left upon their souls its everlasting stain. And well, quoth he, I know for truth their pangs must be extreme. Woe, woe, unutterable woe, who spill life's sacred stream. For why? Methought last night I wrought a murder in a dream. One that had never done me wrong, a feeble man and old. I led him to a lonely field, the moon shone clear and cold. Now here, said I, this man shall die, and I will have his gold. 2 sudden blows with a ragged stick, and 1 with a heavy stone, 1 hurried gash with a hasty knife, and then the deed was done. There was nothing lying at my foot but lifeless flesh and bone. Nothing but lifeless flesh and bone that could not do me ill, and yet I feared him all the more for lying there so still. There was a manhood in his look that murder could not kill. And lo, the universal air seemed lit with ghastly flame. 10,000 dreadful eyes were looking down in blame. I took the dead man by his hand and called upon his name. Oh God, it made me quake to see such sense within the slain. But when I touched the lifeless clay, the blood gushed out amain. For every clot a burning spot was scorching in my brain. My head was like an ardent coal, my heart a solid ice. My wretched, wretched soul I knew was at the devil's price. 12 times I groaned. The dead had never groaned but twice. And now from forth the frowning sky, from the heaven's topmost height, I heard a voice, the awful voice of the blood-avenging sprite. Thou guilty man, take up thy dead, and hide it from my sight. I took the dreary body up, and cast it in a stream. A sluggish water, black as ink, the depth was so extreme. My gentle boy, remember, this is nothing but a dream. Down went the corpse with a hollow plunge, and vanished in the pool. Anon I cleansed my bloody hands, and washed my forehead cool, and sat among the urchins young that evening in the school. Oh heaven, to think of their white souls, and mine so black and grim! I could not share in childish prayer, nor join in evening hymn. Like a devil of the pit I seemed, mid holy cherubim. And peace went with them one and all, and each calm pillow spread. But guilt was my grim chamberlain that lighted me to bed, and drew my midnight curtains round with fingers bloody red. All night I lay in agony, in anguish dark and deep. My fevered eyes I dared not close, but stared aghast at sleep, for sin had rendered unto her the keys of hell to keep. All night I lay in agony from weary chime to chime, with one besetting horrid hint that racked me all the time, a mighty yearning like the first fierce impulse unto crime. One stern tyrannic thought that made all other thoughts its slave. Stronger and stronger every pulse did that temptation crave, still urging me to go and see the dead man in his grave. Heavily I rose up as soon as light was in the sky, and sought the black accursed pool with a wild misgiving eye. And I saw the dead in the river bed, for the faithless stream was dry. Merrily arose the lark, and shook the dewdrop from its wing, but I never marked its morning flight, I never heard it sing, for I was stooping once again under the horrid thing. With breathless speed like a soul in chase, I took him up and ran. There was no time to dig a grave before the day began. In a lonesome wood with heaps of leaves, I hid the murdered man. And all that day I read in school, but my thought was otherwhere. As soon as the midday task was done, in secret I went there, and a mighty wind had swept the leaves, and still the corpse was bare. Then down I cast me on my face, and first began to weep, for I knew my secret then was one that earth refused to keep, or land or sea, though he should be 10,000 fathoms deep. So wills the fierce avenging sprite, till blood for blood atones. Aye, though he's buried in a cave, and trodden down with stones, and years have rotted off his flesh, the world shall see his bones. Oh God, that horrid, horrid dream besets me now awake. Again, again, with dizzy brain, the human life I take, and my red right hand grows raging hot like Cranmer's at the stake. And still no peace for the restless clay will wave or mould allow. The horrid thing pursues my soul, it stands before me now. The fearful boy looked up, and saw huge drops upon his brow. That very night, while gentle sleep the urchin's eyelids kissed, 2 stern-faced men set out from Lynn through the cold and heavy mist, and Eugene Aram walked between, with gyves upon his wrist. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Failure by Rupert Brooke. Read for Librivox by Miss Avarice. Because God put his adamantine fate between my soul and heart in its desire, I swore that I would burst the iron gate, rise up and curse him on his throne of fire. Earth shuddered at my crown of blasphemy, but love was as a flame about my feet. Proud up the golden stair I strode and beat thrice on the gate and entered with a cry. All the great courts were quiet in the sun, and full of vacant echoes. Moss had grown over the glassy pavement, and begun to creep within the dusty council halls. An idle wind blew round an empty throne, and stirred the heavy curtains on the walls. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Gift of the Gods by E. Nesbit. Read for Librivox.org by Ruth Golding. Give me thy dreams, she said, and I, with empty hands and very poor, watched my fair flowery visions die upon the temple's marble floor. Give joy, she said. I let joy go. I saw with cold, unclouded eyes the crimson of the sunset glow across the disenchanted skies. Give me thy youth, she said. I gave, and sudden clouded died the sun, and on the green mound of a grave fell the slow raindrops one by one. Give love, she cried. I gave that too. Give beauty. Beauty sighed and fled. For what on earth should beauty do when love, who was her life, was dead? She took the balm of innocent tears to hiss upon her altar coal. She took the hopes of all my years, and at the last she took my soul. With heart made empty of delight, and hands that held no more fair things, I questioned her, what shall requite the savour of my offerings? The gods, she said, with generous hand give guerdon for thy gifts of cost. Wisdom is thine, to understand the worth of all that thou hast lost. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Had I the Choice by Walt Whitman. Read for Librivox.org. Had I the choice to tally greatest bards, to limn their portraits, stately, beautiful, and emulate at will, Homer with all his wars and warriors, Hector, Achilles, Ajax, or Shakespeare's woe-entangled Hamlet, Lear, Othello, Tennyson's fair ladies, metre or wit the best, or choice conceit to wield in perfect rhyme, delight of singers. These, O sea, all these I gladly barter. Would you the undulation of one wave, its trick to me transfer? Or breathe one breath of yours upon my verse, and leave its odour there? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Read by Alan Davis Drake.
Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. Read for Librivox.org by Tom Barron. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffing through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my mutish boy. O frabjous day, Callooh, Calais, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lines from Maureen by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for Librivox.org by Leanne Howlett. I'd rather have my verses win a place in common people's hearts, who, toiling through the strife and din of life's great thoroughfares and marts, may read some line my hand has penned, some simple verse, not fine or grand, but what their hearts can understand, and hold me henceforth as a friend. I'd rather win such quiet fame than by some fine thought volished so but those of learned minds would know just what the meaning of my song. To have the critics sound my name in high-flown praises, loud and long. I sing not for the critic's ear, but for the masses. If they hear, despite the turmoil, noise, and strife, some least low note that gladdens life, I shall be wholly satisfied, though critics to the end deride. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Macbeth by Walter Delamere. Read for Librivox.org by Tim Tilby. Rose like dim battlements the hills, and reared steep crags into the fading primrose sky. But in the desolate valleys fell small rain, mingled with drifting cloud. I saw one come, like the fierce passion of that vacant place, his face turned glittering to the evening sky. His eyes like grey despair fixed satelessly on the still, rainy turrets of the storm, and all his armor in a haze of blue. He held no sword, bare was his hand unclenched, as if to hide the inextinguishable blood murder had painted there. And his wild mouth seemed spouting echoes of deluded thoughts. Around his head like vipers all distort, his locks shook heavy laden at each stride. If fire may burn invisible to the eye, oh, if despair strive everlastingly, then haunted here the creature of despair, fanning and fanning flame to lick upon a soul still childish in a blackened hell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Medicine Song of an Indian Lover, an Ojibwa poem, read for Librivox.org by Seneca Suter. Who maiden makes this river flow? The spirit, he makes its ripples glow. But I have a charm that can make thee, dear, steal o'er the wave to thy lover here. Who maiden makes this river flow? The spirit, he makes its ripples glow. Yet every blush that my love would hide is mirrored for me in the telltale tide. And though thou shouldest sleep on the farthest isle, round which these dimplings waters smile, yet I have a charm that can make thee, dear, steal over the wave to thy lover here. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On the World by Francis Quarles. Read for Librivox.org by L. Lambert Lawson. The world's an inn, and I her guest. I eat, I drink, I take my rest. My hostess, Nature, does deny me nothing, wherewith she can supply me. Where, having stayed a while, I pay her lavish bills and go my way. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Romaunt of Humpty Dumpty by Henry S. Lee. Read for Librivox.org by Ruth Golding. 'Tis midnight, and the moonbeam sleeps upon the garden sward. My lady in yon turret keeps her tearful watch and ward. Beshrew me, mutters, turning pale, the stalwart seneschal. What's he that sitteth clad in mail upon our castle wall? Arouse thee, friar of orders grey! What ho! bring book and bell! Ban yonder ghastly thing, I say, and look ye, ban it well. By cock and pie, the Humpty's face! The form turned quickly round, then tottered from its resting place. That night the corse was found. The king with hosts of fighting men rode forth at break of day. Ah, never gleamed the sun till then on such a proud array. But all that army, horse and foot, attempted quite in vain upon the castle wall to put the Humpty up again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Song of the Bow by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Read for Librivox.org by Katie Riley. March 2010. What of the bow? The bow was made in England, of true wood, of yew wood, the wood of English bows. So men who are free love the old yew tree, and the land where the yew tree grows. What of the cord? The cord was made in England, a rough cord, a tough cord, a cord that bowmen love. And so we will sing of the hempen string, and the land where the cord was wove. What of the shaft? The shaft was cut in England, a long shaft, a strong shaft, barbed and trim and true. So we'll drink all together to the grey goose feather, and the land where the grey goose flew. What of the mark? Ah, seek it not in England, a bold mark, our old mark, is waiting over sea. When the strings harp in chorus, and the lion flag is o'er us, it is there that our mark will be. What of the men? The men were bred in England, the bowmen, the yeomen, the lads of dale and fell. Here's to you, and to you, to the hearts that are true, and the land where the true hearts dwell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 130 by William Shakespeare. Read for Librivox.org by Lucy Perry. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hair be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked, red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes there is more delight than the breath which from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress when she walks treads on the ground, and yet, by heaven, I count my love as rare as any she belied with false compare. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Shakespeare Sonnet number 138. Read for Librivox.org by Ernst Battinama. When my love swears that she is made of truth, I do believe her, though I know she lies, that she might think me some untutored youth, unlearned in the world's false subtleties. Thus, vainly thinking that she thinks me young, although she knows my days are past the best, simply I credit her false speaking tongue. On both sides thus is simple truth suppressed. But wherefore says she not she is unjust? And wherefore say not I that I am old? Oh, love's best habit is in seeming trust, and age in love loves not to have years told. Therefore I lie with her, and she with me, and in our faults by lies we flattered be. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Thanks in Old Age by Walt Whitman. Read for Librivox.org. Thanks in old age, thanks ere I go, for health, the midday sun, the impalpable air, for life, mere life, for precious ever-lingering memories of you, my mother dear, you, father, you, brothers, sisters, friends. For all my days, not those of peace alone, the days of war the same, for gentle words, caresses, gifts from foreign lands, for shelter, wine, and meat, for sweet appreciation, you distant, dim unknown, or young or old, countless, unspecified readers beloved. We never met, and never shall meet, and yet our souls embrace, long, close and long. For beings, groups, love, deeds, words, books, for colors, forms, for all the brave strong men, devoted, hardy men, who forward sprung in freedom's help, all years, all lands, for braver, stronger, more devoted men, a special laurel ere I go to life's war's chosen ones, the cannoneers of song and thought, the great artillerists, the foremost leaders, captains of the soul. As soldiers from an ended war returned, as travelers out of myriads, to the long procession respective, thanks, joyful thanks, a soldier's, traveler's thanks. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Read by Alan Davis Drake.
To Mary by John Clare. Read for Librivox.org by Dennis D. I sleep with thee and wake with thee, and yet thou art not there. I fill my arms with thoughts of thee, and press the common air. Thy arms are gazing upon mine, when thou art out of sight. My lips are always touching thine, at morning, noon, and night. I think and speak of other things, to keep my mind at rest, but still to thee my memory clings, like love in woman's breast. I hide it from the world's wide eye, and think and speak contrary, but soft the wind comes from the sky, and whispers tales of Mary. The night wind whispers in my ear, the moon shines on my face, the burden still of chilling fear I find in every place. The breeze is whispering in the bush, and leaves fall from the tree, all sighing on and will not hush some pleasant tales of thee. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Valentine's Song by Robert Argyle Campbell. Read for Librivox.org by Dennis D. Dearest, let these roses, in their purity, be a present symbol of my love for thee. Underneath the blossom, thorns are sure to grow. Take heed lest you touch them, they would pain you so. Ah, My faults like thorns are, but cannot they be hidden 'neath the flowers of my love for thee? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The West Wind by John Masefield. Read for Librivox.org by Algie Pugg. Perth, Western Australia. It's a warm wind, the west wind, full of birds' cries. I never hear the west wind but tears are in my eyes. For it comes from the west lands, the old brown hills, and April's in the west wind, and daffodils. It's a fine land, the west land, for hearts as tired as mine. Apple orchards blossom there, and the air's like wine. There is cool green grass there, where men may lie at rest, and the thrushes are in song there, fluting from the nest. Will ye not come home, brother? Ye have been long away. It's April, and blossom time, and white is the May. And bright is the sun, brother, and warm is the rain. Will ye not come home, brother, home to us again? The young corn is green, brother, where the rabbits run. It's blue sky, and white clouds, and warm rain and sun. It's song to a man's soul, brother, fire to a man's brain, to hear the wild bees, and see the merry spring again. Larks are singing in the west, brother, above the green wheat. So will ye not come home, brother, and rest your tired feet? I've a balm for bruised hearts, brother, sleep for aching eyes, says the warm wind, the west wind, full of birds' cries. It's the white road westward is the road I must tread, to the green grass, the cool grass, and rest for heart and head, to the violets, and the warm hearts, and the thrush's song, in the fine land, the west land, the land where I belong. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
When I Read the Book by Walt Whitman. Read for Librivox.org by Simon Dooley. When I read the book, the biography famous, "And is this then," said I, "what the author calls a man's life? And so will someone when I am dead and gone write my life? As if any man really knew aught of my life. Why, even I myself, I often think I know little or nothing of my real life. Only a few hints, a few diffused, faint clues and indirections I seek for my own use to trace out here." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.